Sri Lanka's acting president Ranil Wickremesinghe on Monday declared a state of emergency as anti-government protests continued to simmer amid the acute financial crisis gripping the island nation. The action comes as the Sri Lankan parliament meets to elect a new president, the results of which are expected to be announced on July 20. The top constitutional post was vacated by Gotabaya Rajapaksa after he fled the country last week following massive protests against him. Rajapaksa is currently ensconced in Singapore, where small group of people held demonstrations demanding that he be booted out. Acting President Ranil Wickremesinghe has declared a state of emergency in a bid to quell social unrest and tackle the deepening economic crisis. It is expedient so to do in the interest of public security, the protection of public order, and the maintenance of supplies and services essential to the life of the community, the notification stated. Sri Lanka's parliament met on Saturday to begin the process of electing a new president. Top contenders in the race are Ranil Wickremesinghe, reportedly backed by the Rajapaksas and the ruling party, Sajith Premadasa, leader of the main opposition, Dallas Alaha Peruma, a senior lawmaker pegged as the dark horse in the presidential race, and Marxist JVP leader Anura Kumara. Singaporean authorities have reportedly told ousted Gotabaya Rajapaksa that they will not extend his stay in the city-state. Rajapaksa landed there last Thursday on what the Singapore government called a private visit. He has not asked for asylum, and neither has he been granted any asylum, Singapore's foreign ministry has said. Lawmakers in North Macedonia on Saturday passed a French-brokered deal aimed at settling a dispute with Bulgaria and clearing the way to long-due European Union membership talks. With 68 votes, the 120-seat parliament voted in favor of the agreement. Opposition lawmakers did not participate in the vote and left the room. Today we are opening a new perspective for our country. From today, we are moving with accelerated steps to join the EU family, Prime Minister Dimitar Kovacevski said in a press conference after his cabinet approved Parliament's conclusions. Kovacevski said the first meeting between his government and the EU would be held on Tuesday. The deal proposes that North Macedonia's constitution be amended to recognize a Bulgarian minority. The proposal does not require Bulgaria to recognize the Macedonian language. In exchange, Bulgaria will allow its West Balkan neighbor to start membership talks with the EU. After the agreement was adopted, governing party deputies rolled out EU and North Macedonian flags. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen urged lawmakers on Thursday to vote on the deal, said the vote paves the way for opening the accession negotiations rapidly. Albania's Prime Minister Edi Rama, whose country has been held back because the EU has linked its progress to that of North Macedonia, said an Albanian delegation would travel to Brussels on Monday to start membership talks. US Secretary of State Antony Blinken welcomed the vote, saying Washington recognized the difficult trade-offs considered in this compromise, which acknowledges and respects North Macedonia's cultural identity and the Macedonian language. Sri Lanka's interim president Ranil Wickremesinghe on Sunday told the West that the sanctions on Russia for its aggression in Ukraine will not bring Moscow to its knees, but instead badly hurt the rest of the third world in terms of food shortages and spiraling prices. The marks of the interim leader of the crisis-hit island nation came days after the World Food Programme said that skyrocketing food and fuel prices, shortage of essentials and loss of income were pushing adequate food out of reach for over 6 million Sri Lankans. Speaking at an international panel discussion on preventing hunger and famine, Vikrame Singh urged all sides to agree to a ceasefire on the war in Ukraine and end further sufferings of the people across the globe. Our issue in Sri Lanka is partly self made and partly due to the global crisis, he said. In his address, Vikrame Singh expressed his views on Russia's aggression in Ukraine and its effects to the third world countries, questioning that whether sanctions are meant to assist in overcoming the global shortage or is it hampering the world. Following Russia's special military operation in Ukraine in February, the US led West has imposed crippling sanctions on Moscow. US Secretary of State Antony Blinken recently said that there are more than 20 million tons of grain that are sitting in silos in Ukraine that cannot get out to feed people across the world because Russia is blockading Ukraine's ports in Odessa in the Black Sea. So we are seeing the impact of this Russian aggression play out everywhere. It again may have contributed to the situation in Sri Lanka. We are concerned about the implications that it has around the world, Blinken said in Bangkok on July 10. Ghana has officially confirmed two cases of the Marburg virus, a highly infectious disease similar to Ebola, its health service said on Sunday, after two people who later died tested positive for the virus earlier this month. Tests conducted in Ghana came back positive on July 10, but the results had to be verified by a laboratory in Senegal for the cases to be considered confirmed, according to the World Health Organization. GHS is working to reduce any risk of the virus spreading, including the isolation of all identified contacts, none of whom have developed any symptoms so far, it said. This is only the second outbreak of Marburg in West Africa. The first ever case of the virus in the region was detected last year in Guinea, with no further cases identified. Health authorities have responded swiftly, getting a head start preparing for a possible outbreak. This is good because without immediate and decisive action, Marburg can easily get out of hand, said WHO Regional Director for Africa. Two patients in southern Ghana's Ashanti region both had symptoms including diarrhea, fever, nausea, and vomiting before dying in hospital, the WHO said. South Africa's veteran freedom fighter and Deputy Secretary General of African National Congress, Yasin Jesse Duarte, passed away on Sunday after a long battle with cancer. She was 68. The ANC confirmed that Duarte passed away in the early hours of Sunday morning. Duarte had been on medical leave since November last year as she underwent treatment for cancer. She was the longest serving member of the ruling party's National Executive Council after first being elected to the body in 1999 under the leadership of then President Thabo Mbeki. Sharing its condolences, the ANC said Duarte had been a tower of strength to the organization as well as a matriarch and pillar of her family. Passing of Comrade Jesse is a great loss not only to the family but to the democratic movement and the country as well, ANC national spokesperson said in a statement. She dedicated her entire life to the struggle for a united, non racial, non sexist, democratic, prosperous, and just South Africa. A committed gender activist, she relentlessly championed the emancipation and empowerment of women. Her life and work reflected a consistent commitment to advancing the rights of poor and marginalized. As a committed internationalist and former diplomat, not only will she be mourned by South Africa but by colleagues and comrades on the African continent and the international progressive movement. A team of experts known for rejecting black hole discoveries have for the first time found the mysterious object in our neighboring galaxy. The stellar mass black hole has been found in the large Magellanic Cloud, a neighboring galaxy to the Milky Way. Stellar mass black holes are formed after massive stars reach the end of their lives and collapse under their own gravity. However, what baffles astronomers is the fact that the star that gave rise to the black hole in the large Magellanic Cloud vanished without any sign of a powerful explosion. Dubbed VFTS 243, the black hole was discovered from observations obtained by the European Southern Observatory, ESO's Very Large Telescope VLT. For the first time, our team got together to report on a black hole discovery instead of rejecting one. Study leader Thomas Schenner said, scientists have claimed that it is the first dormant black hole to be discovered in the neighboring galaxy. VFT 243 is at least 9 times the mass of our sun and orbits a hot blue star weighing 25 times the sun's mass. Dormant black holes are hard to spot since they do not interact much with their surroundings. The team had been looking for it for a couple of years and they searched nearly 1,000 massive stars in the Tarantula Nebula region of the large Magellanic Cloud, looking for the ones that could have black holes as companions. The ESO, in a statement, added that the discovery also allows the team a unique view into the process that accompany the formation of black holes. Astronomers believe that a stellar mass black hole forms as a core of a dying massive star collapse, but it remains uncertain whether or not this is accompanied by a powerful supernova explosion. Ranil Wickremesinghe became Sri Lanka's ninth president after winning the presidential poll on Wednesday, July 20. He raked in 134 votes. Ranil Wickremesinghe assumes the president's chair amid massive protests against him. Earlier, his private residence was set on fire, and his official residence, when he was the prime minister, was stormed by protesters who demanded that he step down. Right after winning the election on Wednesday, he addressed the speaker and sought permission from the speaker to take oath outside the parliament chamber within the parliament complex. He assured the opposition that he would work with all parties to bail Sri Lanka out of this unprecedented economic crisis. Residents in the Australian town of Mildura were left puzzled on Wednesday after the evening sky was filled with a strange pink glow. Photos posted on social media show how the dim, cloudy sky was illuminated with a bright pink circle. There also appeared to be a cone of light directed upwards from the ground, suggesting that the pink light had a ground-based source. The phenomenon sparked jokes from a couple of observers, including references to aliens or the popular paranormal drama series Stranger Things. However, it wasn't long before residents had an answer. The pink glow was coming from a nearby cannabis farm owned by the pharmaceutical company Can Group. Locals were treated to a bit of a light show last night while we were testing one of the new cultivation zones at our facility. We can confidently say this was not a solar flare or an interdimensional portal, the Can Group confirmed on Twitter. Cannabis plants need different spectrums of light in order to encourage their growth. For instance, red light is often used in the flowering stage to encourage plants to grow tall and to help promote budding. Hoping to clear up some of the confusion, Can Group CEO Peter Kroc spoke to ABC News on Thursday morning. It's a brand new facility that is just become operational this year. Really exciting and state-of-art technology, he told the channel. We use LED lights in the facility and we were testing a new room that is come into commission just yesterday. The lights normally shut down at sunset. We were testing the systems and they did not shut down at sunset, but the lights did go off at 7 o'clock when we put the cannabis to sleep normally. Can Group Limited was the first Australian company to secure license for cannabis cultivation for medicinal and research purposes. The UK has had one of its hottest days on record with the heat soaring above 40 degrees Celsius for the first time ever on Tuesday. Heat drove recorded 40.2 degrees Celsius, 1.5 degrees Celsius higher than the previous record of 38.7 degrees Celsius recorded in 2019 in Cambridge. This has left climate scientists concerned as extreme heat waves in Europe are occurring more rapidly than models had suggested, indicating that the climate crisis on the European continent may be even worse than feared. Professor Peter Stott at the Met Office said that he is shocked that the UK has recorded more than 40.2 degrees Celsius this year, smashing the previous record set in 2019. About 2,000 heat waves deaths a year have occurred on average in the UK over the last decade. The heat wave has also disrupted work, schools, and travel. According to scientists, slashing carbon emissions and rapidly upgrading the UK's overheating homes and buildings are more urgent than ever. Peter Stott's research in 2020 showed that there was a chance of UK hitting 40 degrees Celsius due to global heating, but we calculated it as a relatively low likelihood, a roughly 1 in 100 chance, albeit that those chances are increasing rapidly all the time with continued warming. Stott said that breaking 40 degrees Celsius on Tuesday was very worrying, as this was never seen in the UK before, and it could be that the risk of such extreme heat was even greater than what previous calculations showed. Climate scientists are concerned that the rise in extreme weather may be occurring faster than expected. Professor Michael Mann at Pennsylvania State University in the US said his research suggested that climate models failed to adequately link many extreme summer weather events to climate change. The US House overwhelmingly approved legislation Tuesday to protect same sex and interracial marriages amid concerns that the Supreme Court ruling overturning Roe v. Wade abortion access could jeopardize other rights, criticized by many conservatives. In a robust but lopsided debate, Democrats argued intensely and often personally in favor of enshrining marriage equality in federal law, while Republicans steered clear of opening, rejecting gay marriage. Instead, leading Republicans portrayed the bill as unnecessary amid other issues facing the nation. Tuesday's election year roll call 267 to 157 was partly political strategy, forcing all House members, Republicans and Democrats, to go on the record. It also reflected the legislative branch pushing back against an aggressive court that has raised questions about revisiting other apparently settled US laws. Wary of political fallout, GOP leaders did not press their members to hold the party line against the bill. In all, 47 Republicans joined all Democrats in voting for passage, while the Respect for Marriage Act easily passed the House with a Democratic majority. It is likely to stall in the evenly split Senate, where most Republicans would probably join a filibuster to block it. It is one of the several bills, including those enshrining abortion access, that Democrats are proposing to confront the court's conservative majority. Another bill guaranteeing access to contraceptive services is set for a vote later this week.